Picture this. It's 1938. Europe is on the brink of war. A young British stockbroker, Nicholas Winton, is on his way to a ski trip when a friend calls him from Prague with an urgent plea. "I have an assignment for you," he says. "Don't bother bringing your skis." Winton reroutes his trip, and what he discovers in Prague changes not just his life, but the course of history for hundreds of families. He arrives to find refugee camps overflowing with people who have fled the Nazis. The conditions are desperate, especially for the children. While various organizations were trying to help adults, Winton saw that the children were being left behind. Facing starvation, freezing temperatures, and the looming threat of concentration camps, he knew he couldn't just stand by and do nothing. So this ordinary man decided to do something extraordinary, with no official backing, no government support, and no large organization behind him. Winton set up a makeshift office on a table in his hotel dining room. He began a race against time, a one-man mission to save as many children as possible. His task was monumental. First, he had to compile lists of children. Then came the bureaucratic nightmare. He had to negotiate with the Nazi officials, persuade British authorities to issue entry visas, and most crucially, find British families willing to take in a refugee child. The British government had agreed to let children in, but only if a foster family and a deposit of £50, a huge sum, back then were secured for each one. Winton returned to London and converted his home into a command center. He worked his day job as a stockbroker, then spent every evening and weekend dedicated to the rescue mission. He and a small team of volunteers, including his own mother, worked tirelessly. They placed ads in newspapers, wrote to churches and synagogues, and pleaded with anyone who would listen to find homes for these children. The response was slow at first, but they persisted, creating a meticulous card index system to match children with foster families. He even resorted to forging home office entry permits when the real ones were uncoming through fast enough. He knew that every delay, every bureaucratic obstacle could mean the difference between life and death. He was fighting a clock that was ticking down to the start of a world war. Between March and August of 1939, Winton and his team successfully organized 8 trains that carried 669 children from Prague to the safety of London's Liverpool Street Station. These journeys were filled with anxiety. The children, some just toddlers, said goodbye to their parents, often for the last time, clutching little suitcases and identification tags. They were heading into the unknown, but they were heading towards life. The 9th train, scheduled to depart on September 3, 1939, was set to be the largest yet, with 250 children on board. But on September 1st, Germany invaded Poland. The borders were sealed. The train never left the station. Tragically, almost all of those 250 children were never heard from again. The window of hope had slammed shut. After the war, Winton got married, had a family, and lived a quiet life. He never spoke of what he did. For nearly half a century, his incredible heroism remained a secret, tucked away in a scrapbook in his attic. He didn't see himself as a hero. He simply believed that if something is not impossible, then there must be a way to do it. It wasn't until 1988, when his wife Greet found the scrapbook filled with photos, documents, and the list of children's names, that the story began to emerge. The world was about to learn about the man they would call the British Schindler. The most powerful moment came when the BBC television program That's Life invited Winton as a guest in the audience. The host shared his story, holding up the scrapbook for all to see. She then asked, "Is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you stand up?" To Winton's astonishment, dozens of people all around him rose to their feet. These were the Winton's children, now adults, who had come to thank the man who saved them. In a later episode, he was seated again, and the host revealed that the entire audience surrounding him was made up of the children and grandchildren of those he had rescued. Nicholas Winton's story is a profound reminder that one person's compassion and courage can change the world. He didn't have superpowers or a grand plan. He just saw a need and chose to act. His legacy isn't just the 669 lives he saved, but the thousands of descendants' children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren who exist today, all because one quiet man decided to do what was right. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please give it a like and subscribe for more stories of incredible people. See you next time.